Okay, for this experiment, we have a ruler and a pendulum. I can choose the length of my pendulum, totally my choice. But I'm going to measure that length now. And of course, we're going to count that pendulum, but I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to measure that length by putting one end at some point on the ruler. I'm going to go ahead and put it at 10, and the other end out here. Now that is at the center of the washer is at 31.9, and I can't, it's hard to estimate exactly where the center of that washer is, so I'm not going to attempt to estimate that to another decimal point. That would be ridiculous. I'm lucky if I've got it right to the 0.9 in this case. Now I write down the 10 and I write down the 31.9. I don't write down the 21.9 that I would get if I subtracted those. That means I'd be doing arithmetic when I'm supposed to be observing. I observe what's on the ruler and I don't do any arithmetic. I write down the two numbers and I write them down carefully and I make sure they're correct. I'll do the subtraction later. Now what I'm going to do is, when everybody gets a ruler measure, I'm going to call out start, you're going to start, I'm going to call out stop, and you'll stop your count at that point. You can estimate fractions of a half cycle if you think you can do that, and it's not a bad idea to attempt to do that. We're going to do this for three different lengths. The next length will be twice this length, if that can be measured on the ruler. And the next length will be half the original length. So we get three counts, and those will be reported in the manner dictated on the document. Your data will indicate whether the timing was for the first, the second, or the third length of the pendulum. Then it'll report the first reading on the ruler, then the second reading on the ruler, and then the count, and separated by commas, and finally the units in which you measured, which ruler you used to measure.